Let's get some analysis now from Ashish Prashar, who's a political strategist and human rights activist and joins me live now from London. Thank you so much for being with us on the program. Hundreds of people have been killed by Israeli attacks since this so-called ceasefire began. Are you hopeful that they'll change, that will change moving forward, given this diverse board of peace that they've now formed and the technocratic committee that's in place in Gaza?
Look, it's very visible from everything we see that the genocide never stopped. Beyond the fact that the ceasefire, that no one ever ceased fire, the Israelis, aid has been a struggle to get in. And frankly, why would anyone be surprised with this occupation? They've never respected any deal, resolution, ceasefire, treaty in their history. Their whole identity is lawlessness. And today, the Israeli occupation, as your correspondent said, has massacred entire families. People have been burnt alive in tents, civilians targeted on the street, and yet the West looks away. Look, as regards to the border, is it going to change anything? No, I think it's going to, in fact, potentially accelerate the extermination of the Palestinian people in Gaza. You already talked about Jared Kushner and some of their colleagues' plans for even more concentrated concentration camps within Gaza to drive, monitor, and focus their plans for the remaining population in Gaza. So there just needs to be a rejection in any form of international trusteeship over the Gaza Strip. The future of Palestine should be simply decided by Palestinians. Mm-hmm. And it appears the only qualification, frankly, for joining this Gaza border peace is to have a strong track record of endorsing and arming Israel's project of genocide, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing. Trump's board of peace, whatever you want to call it, also has him as the ultimate authority over every decision-making, as it goes to the future of Gaza. And you've already seen where he stands when it's backing Benjamin Netanyahu, continuing to send more weapons, turning a blind eye to the ceasefire violations. But also, that's just a continuation of American foreign policy as it relates to Israel. They'll let them exterminate Palestine. Mm-hmm. And what we really require is an international movement to get rid of this border peace and put in Palestinians back in charge of their territory.
I mean, it's the civilians who pay the highest price, isn't it? What protections, if any, exist for Gaza's population under the ceasefire framework, or any other framework for that matter, and who is responsible when Israel fails to abide by the terms?
Look, even during my time at the Middle East Peace Envoy's office for Blair, we know the Palestinian population has had very little, if no, protection from the international community. The resistance on the ground has always been their protection. It's why the disarming of the resistance in the West Bank was such a huge moment that the PA have orchestrated, by the way. They orchestrated the disarming of the resistance that kept the Israeli ethnic cleansing at bay. Now, the only thing left in Gaza protecting the civilians are the resistance, who, by the way, are honoring the ceasefire. And the minute if they are forced to put their weapons down, there's nothing stopping Israel and its backers in the West from continuing this extermination at a more accelerated pace. Frankly, the only way we're going to get any change of scenario here is if the international public, not the community as we traditionally talk about it. We talk about it through the international community, the UN, NGOs. They've all failed. You've covered it. Everyone's covered it. They've failed. In fact, a lot of them are complicit. The public, who have watched over 2 years of atrocity after atrocity take place. They are the ordinary people resisting the empire of the United States and Israel, are the only ones who can actually protect the Palestinian public here. And I'm talking about people who are taking not just direct action in their countries, people who are holding general strikes in Italy, people who could shut down the economies of the West to force their leadership to intervene on behalf of the Palestinian population. We're already talking about the third general strike taking place in Italy in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I call for everyone across Europe to stop working and shut their economies down, because that is the only way your leaders will act on behalf of the Palestinian population.
Okay. Ashish Prashar, thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World and sharing that insight with us. I appreciate it.